while I agreed with FDR's New Deal, we couldn't eventually match eye to eye, and I think that, according to on here, my own prejudice prevented Mississippi from obtaining great New Deal jobs because I didn't want certain people to have them. Although a predominant black figure, Marcus Garvey, I believe I'm saying his last name right, it means that we had the same idea. And I think that's very interesting on here. It probably got left out.
Actually, there was a woman who worked with the Universal Negro Improvement Association who did have an opportunity to meet with you.
Right.
And you supported her efforts.
Right. I
Yes.
don't know, it's just weird to me.
What part of it is weird to you? Go ahead and break character and say what's weird about it.
No, he agreed with it, but I mean, he just held back Mississippi, I believe, a little bit, potentially, from getting some good, solid jobs for people that could have used them.
But he was successful in getting jobs for poor white Mississippians. I mean, we talked about this a little bit yesterday, and it reflected in your identity. Built roads, hospitals, maybe not in the magnitude of Huey Long did in Louisiana, but he did that in the state of Mississippi. And he called himself the man, right? And he was able to bring all kinds of resources to this state that had never existed before. He was just selective about who received those resources. Okay, a couple more, and then we'll talk about how to embed this. We'll go back to the pedagogical issues. So, any others?
Tracy?
Yes, sir.
Well, I was Hugh White, and one of the neat things is he is from Columbia, and his mansion is about a block away from where I live now. But anyway, it's a pretty impressive mansion. But I just never realized the impact he had on Columbia and Mississippi. And I know that he brought in industry and all that kind of stuff. But how he did it, it wasn't just Columbia either, as a whole state. And I mean, he just thought of inventive ways of being able to give subsidies to companies. And of course, our little town now is still trying to do the same thing. And I don't think it's grown a whole lot, I mean, economically, since Hugh White, died. And so, anyway, I think that's kind of neat. And when we see, getting out of the Great Depression, this is obviously one guy that is creating inventive ways of getting out of the Great Depression.
So a local hero, a local Mississippi hero. Yes, sir.
I'm Wardell, Luther Wandell, currently a CCC worker. Wasn't too
No,
difficult.
what's the CCC again?
Civilian for civilian company.
Okay.
Wasn't too difficult about going into it. Initially, I had an older brother that had served in World War I, and he said anything dealing with the Army, you probably need to stay away from it because the benefits were exactly equal, and there was a lot of prejudice in it too. But I'm finding from my own experience, I didn't have a job before I needed a job, and it's done just that. I found myself somewhat in the rock and hard place because I'm not really accepted in the black community and kind of looked down upon in the white community. But I met a gentleman during this process, Mr. Randolph, and he is trying to organize labor unions, different things, as well as I've had a chance to speak to Mr. Gould. And she's giving me a lot of insight concerning the possibility of education being an even greater door opener for me to go further. And I'm going to try to work with Mr. Randolph if I could, in reference to this thing about a union, because I'm sure that would establish better benefits across the board too.
Anybody else dying to share their identity before we break character and start to talk about how to use this in class? Anybody else really surprised by something they learned about their character?
I'm not necessarily. First of all, I'm Philip Randolph. I'm a black labor leader, and our goal and what we're trying to achieve more than anything is organization among not just workers altogether, but the correct terminology this time, the Negro American, to deal with issues of discrimination as related to programs or initiatives toward the war effort, and to be allowed to be recognized as being patriotic, having the opportunity to make a contribution. Not that we're anti-America, whatever the case may be, to make a contribution to the success of our country. The thing that stuck out to me more than anything is just the interaction with the different people. I met a Supreme Court justice who worked a great deal with a migrant movement. This individual stated that he used to be, or at one time was a hobo. He didn't know exactly when he started that life, but the idea of him being successful when given the opportunity in his relationship with FDR and meeting with and Mary in regards to education, being the first black unofficial cabinet member of FDR's administration, created a sense of connect that there was an opportunity under this presidency to work within the black community and the struggles that African Americans were dealing with at the time. The thing that stuck out to me in regards to this character is that we often associate civil rights movement only with the 1960s. And if we can learn how, especially when you're teaching an SATP history course, the generalities of your objectives are so vague or general to the point of saying civil rights movement, how did they do? So I think you can make that connection, not just around Martin Luther King, SNCC, that particular 60 movement, but to see the progression of civil rights from the different people that I met, the Mexican worker in the pecan plant, the Mexican or senator, how that every individual had an association of being not classified by culture and ethnicity, but being classified as an American. And that every individual had that goal to be representative as an American rather than a minority or being distinctively different, but being accepted no matter what role they played in society. But the idea of civil rights, how soon it actually started. And the thing that Randolph was doing that kind of caught my attention, the organizing, having all these views throughout from different cultures, but taking those multitude of voices and bringing it together as one voice so that the rest of the world could understand that there are contributions that each and every individual can make no matter what makeup they're from.
I'm going to pick up a theme you just said and shift gears a little bit around the testing thing. If this is the only information your students ever got about this person or this time period, how would they do on the test? If this little piece of paper was the only thing that your students ever got about that particular person or about this period in history, and they did this activity, how would they do on the test? They would fail it? They'd have to have background knowledge.
They'd have to reinforce it after.
They'd have to reinforce it.
With the worksheets possibly that they were thrown going in, but now it sparked their interest. It
Okay.
sparks their interest.
Spark their interest to go do. Somebody, I think a couple gentlemen over here said it would prompt them to go deeper into the research. They would have maybe a care to learn more about this person or about this time period.
They couldn't possibly know and remember all the ideas and the people at one time. It'd have to be a smaller.
So you probably have to have at least some kind of worksheet that goes along with it at the first reading, right? So similar to the teaching list I gave you. Have a writing strategy where you sit and you read it, look for the main ideas, pull out some of the details so you can focus on your own person, right? And then as you're meeting people, as you're going around the room, it might be helpful to have a sheet that says, I met this person, this is how we connected to each other. Recorded immediately.
And then continue on.
Okay, all right. Anything else that might help this go deeper for folks?
Well, this is something that I've actually done in the classroom,
Okay.
and I've used it as like an introduction to a unit.
Mhm. So it's not the be-all, end-all. It's
No,
a single
it's
lesson as part of a
Kind
larger
like the
unit.
book almost.
Okay.
And I usually do something about this size, and I never give real pertinent information about the person. It's kind of like background to get the students thinking about these people. It's all people that are important to the unit. And I actually make the students read it make them memorize important things, what they find interesting about people. And I give the students name tags. So they write, hello, my name is. So when they go around meeting people, they don't have to remember all this stuff.
Sure.
And I make them actually write down who they've met and what they find interesting about other people. And I make them meet 10 other people in the classroom. And they actually
And this is all in one class period?
This is one class period. And I make them turn that in like a daily grade, check off, you've done this, we can move on. And as we go through the unit, they're able to make the connections going, oh, wait a minute, that's who so-and-so is, that's who I was. And what's really neat is like World War I, and you have the Archduke and the assassin, and they'll go, wait a minute, you killed me. And they start really personalizing who these people are, going, wait, it was you who killed me? And it's really kind of neat, and they get into it, and it kind of makes the unit more interesting for them, because now they can, for the historical people, they can put the classmates' faces to it, and it's really kind of neat. And it works, it really does.
Okay. Well, you had a comment.
I can certainly see it as a review tool. It would be really broad. It would cover a lot of time, but before the state test, almost just to keep those names fresh.